Mangwana ni mwalelepo vukenjani keklas vanave Africa. Welcome to Africa Good Morning, your portal into Africa's potent stories. Today we begin with Botswana declaring a public health emergency as critical medicine shortages affect hospitals nationwide, with the military stepping in for distribution. Togo experiences political uncertainty as new ministers remain unappointed following constitutional reforms. Kilmar Abrego Garcia of the USA temporarily shielded from deportation to Uganda. South Africa warns young women against viral Russian recruitment schemes. In economic news, Zimbabwe reinstates its maize import ban. Kenya races to secure a U.S. trade deal, and fuel prices across Africa are analyzed. Botswana Report with Rorisang Mogojwe covers current affairs and sport. And some breaking news just in. South Africa's top court has rejected the latest Lungu family appeal with regards to the burial of the late Zambian president. We'll start with that. But for now, make sure you're tuned in on DSTV 285, GOTV 25, 1up2.com, NTV Africa on YouTube. My name is Ashwin Berry. Let's get into the breaking news shortly.
Mornings just got better, Namibia. From the latest headlines to the hottest trends, we're bringing you the conversations that matter.
That's right. Bright minds, bold opinions, and a touch of morning magic. This is your daily dose of energy.
So grab a cup and join in on the conversation every weekday morning at 8 o'clock with Smell the Coffee, hosted by Diana Master and Aina Riza Quayo.
Breaking news. The Constitutional Court of South Africa has declined to hear a direct appeal by the family of late former Zambian President Edgar Lungu against the Pretoria High Court ruling ordering the repatriation of his body for burial in Zambia. Family spokesperson Makebi Zulu confirmed that the Zambian government, through Secretary to the Cabinet Patrick Kangwa, has approached the Lungu family to initiate formal negotiations over Mr. Lungu's burial site. In a statement, Mr. Zulu noted that the talks aim to balance the family's wishes with the state's role in determining the funeral arrangements. Mr. Kangwa reiterated the government's commitment to according Mr. Lungu a dignified funeral befitting his stature while respecting the Constitutional Court's decision. The late former president, who passed away on June 5 this year, remains at the center of delicate discussions as both sides seek an amicable resolution over his final resting place. Darius Shonya of Diamond Media Zambia reports.
The government of the Republic of Zambia has taken note of the Constitutional Court of South Africa's ruling concerning the burial of the sixth president, Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu. On behalf of the government, we want to thank the court for its timely consideration of the matter. While the government respects the court's decision, it remains committed to working with Dr. Lungu's family to reach an arrangement that takes into consideration the family's wishes and interests, but also takes into account the rights of the government. Our position is unchanged. The late president deserves a dignified funeral in keeping with the stature of his office. We want to thank citizens for their understanding at this time and for avoiding inflammatory comments. Now is the time for all of us to keep the Lungu family in our thoughts and prayers as we mourn the loss of the former president. Thank you and God bless you.
Botswana's President Duma Boko declared a public health emergency, citing a nationwide breakdown in the medical supply chain that has left hospitals and clinics critically short of essential medicines and supplies, according to Reuters. Boko announced that the military would oversee an emergency distribution drive with trucks departing from Gaborone to reach remote areas by evening. The health ministry had previously warned in early August that supplies were running out due to financial constraints, resulting in the postponement of all non-urgent surgeries. Boko revealed that prices for medical procurement were inflated and that distribution failures were causing significant loss and waste. The Finance Ministry has approved 250 million pula in emergency funding to address the crisis. Botswana, the world's leading diamond producer by value, faces severe budget pressures following a global diamond market downturn. Adding to the strain, the U.S. administration under President Donald Trump cut funding that supported Botswana's healthcare sector. Medicines for chronic illnesses like hypertension, diabetes, tuberculosis, cancer, and mental health care are among those rapidly depleting. On August 4, the Health Ministry disclosed debts of 1 billion pula to private facilities and suppliers, worsening shortages. Here is President Duma Boko making the declaration on BTV.
By the powers vested in me by Section 17, subsection 1 of the Constitution of this Republic, I hereby declare a state of public health emergency, granting me the necessary powers to make decisions quickly to address the immediate medical needs of the nation. In addition to this declaration, I hereby set aside Clause 34, Subclause 3, A and B of the Retirement Fund Act 2022 to enable the establishment of the Health First Botswana Partnership, a 5 billion pula fund to which the Botswana Development Corporation shall invest the initial sum of 100 million. To further the provision of an immediate solution to the crisis, the Ministry of Finance has approved a waiver to bypass current citizen empowerment schemes that have contributed to cost escalations, and for the use of emergency procurement methods as provided in the Public Procurement Act to address this predicament the country is faced with.
Moving on to our next story. More than 3 months after Faure Gnassingbé began his new term as president of Togo, no new ministers have been appointed, according to Africa News and AP. The delay follows sweeping constitutional reforms that abolished presidential elections and shifted the country to a parliamentary system. The opposition has condemned the move as a calculated power grab designed to keep Gnassingbé, who has ruled since 2005, in power indefinitely. For now, the outgoing administration continues handling daily governance while pressure mounts on the president, who now chairs the Council of Ministers to form a new team. Critics have described the reforms as an institutional coup d'etat, reflecting deeper tensions in Togo's political landscape. Now, Gnassingbé succeeded his father, Gnassingbé Eyadema, extending his family's rule to 58 years. However, not everyone views the situation with alarm. Outgoing Labour Minister Gilbert Bawara insists it is not extraordinary, citing Belgium's extended period without a government. Despite this, frustration continues to grow among Togolese citizens who are left uncertain about the future direction of governance and policy in the country as they await the president's long-delayed cabinet appointments. Now, Kilmar Abrego, Garcia of the USA, who recently reunited with his family after 160 days apart following a mistaken deportation to El Salvador, was taken into ICE custody during a routine check-in in Baltimore, but a federal judge has temporarily blocked his deportation to Uganda. Abrego's attorneys said the detention was punitive, occurring shortly after the Trump administration announced plans to deport him overseas. Abrego, who returned to the U.S. on June 6 following an indictment on human smuggling charges, has denied all allegations. His lawyers filed a lawsuit to prevent removal without due process, arguing that Uganda has not guaranteed his safety or refugee protections. U.S. District Judge Paul Lashines ordered Abrego to remain in the United States pending an evidentiary hearing, citing concerns about his treatment abroad. Before detention, Abrego addressed supporters and family, expressing gratitude and urging continued advocacy. The Trump administration had offered a plea deal allowing deportation to Costa Rica, where he would have refugee protections, which Abrego has declined. His case has drawn attention to third country removals, with attorneys noting that similar incidents have affected other immigrants. The court's ruling temporarily secures Abrego's presence in the U.S. while legal proceedings continue. In the loss of our top stories, the South African government has issued a warning to young women to avoid falling for online recruitment drives advertising jobs abroad following a surge in viral videos promoting opportunities in Russia, according to BBC News. Among the most prominent videos is one by social media influencer Sian Boji, real name Ona Zuma, which showcased accommodation and described a 2-year START program aimed at women aged 18 to 22 seeking professional skills. Boji's video, filmed in Tatarstan, has since been removed from her TikTok account, though she has not been accused of wrongdoing. Authorities, however, are concerned after reports emerged alleging that some recruits ended up working in drone production factories linked to Russia's war in Ukraine. The program is reportedly coordinated through a special economic zone in Tatarstan and has drawn scrutiny from international investigators. Clayson Monyela, South Africa's head of public diplomacy, warned on social media that young people should avoid unverified foreign job offers, urging them to seek second opinions. A report by the Global Initiative Against Transnational Organized Crime revealed that many participants are misled about working conditions and educational opportunities, raising fears that these jobs are fronts for military-linked manufacturing operations. Here is Sian Boji offering an apology after the ordeal.
Namarashia speaking herself. I'm gonna make this very short and very quick. I've been quiet firstly because I've been waiting for the program to actually release a statement on my behalf. And human trafficking is a very, very, very serious matter. And I do not stand with that. And I believe this is a huge learning curve for me and all the other influencers. And I don't think anyone with sense would repeat something like this. But I want you guys to know that it wasn't for money, because I haven't been paid yet. I had other videos to post. I think I had 4 more videos to post on my YouTube, on my TikTok, on my Instagram. And I was only going to get paid after posting. So it wasn't for money. I didn't get paid immediately when I saw the comments on my stories and on my videos that I posted, the first 2 videos that I posted on both my TikTok and my Instagram. I knew that this is not something I stand with. I knew that this is something I have to delete immediately. I don't care. I don't care about the money or contract or saying we are humans and we make mistakes. And I think the positivity out of this is that the girls will be helped. That is the main thing that matters at this very moment. What I'm posting on my Instagram captions has nothing to do with what's happening. I'm actually very frustrated about this, and I wouldn't have involved myself in this if I knew. May everyone have a good day if they want. And I'm saying that because I understand how frustrated South Africans are. And I apologize. I apologize, and I believe that this is not something that will be repeated again. Thank you very much. And also the main reason, why most of the influencers were going is because we are approaching a way I would say, no, this one has been there. You can, we're thinking, yeah, no, it's a tough one.
Those have been our top stories on Africa Good Morning. Shortly, we'll be joined by Rorisang Mogojwe as she takes us through the Botswana report, including adding more detail to the declaration of a health emergency by President Duma Boko. But prior to that, it's the weather. It's time for us to get into the Botswana report with Rorisang Mogojwe. Good morning, Rorisang. How are you?
Dumela Ashwin, Dumelang to everyone who's tuning in, to all our viewers from across the continent. It's such a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me on Africa. Good morning.
Africa, good morning indeed. Now, we get straight into a rather serious update. President Duma Boko, as we spoke about earlier on the show, has declared a health emergency and is launching a 5 billion Pula fund.
That is correct, Ashwin. If you can recall that I've previously reported here that Botswana is currently facing a national health crisis where there is a dire shortage of medication and drugs and medical supplies across all public health institutions. There is a shortage across all clinics and hospitals across the country. And in addition to that, some life-saving procedures and surgeries have had to be put on temporary halt. And just recently, the Minister of Health also revealed or announced that currently the government owes medical supplies in excess of about 1 billion pula. And so all of these challenges, this crisis then prompted President Duma Boko to declare a state of public health emergency, warning that currently the nation's public health system is under severe strain. Now, this public health emergency allows President Boko to bypass some regulations in order to make decisions as quickly and as efficiently as possible in order to address the persisting challenges in the health system of the country. And one of the decisions that was made was the setting up or creation of a 5 billion pula emergency health fund, which is meant to strengthen public hospitals, expand critical care capacity, secure essential medicines, as well as support frontline workers. And another decision that was made and announced was the creation of a task team of experts that will then advise the president on how and when it would be best to make decisions in order to deal with this health crisis that is currently ongoing in Botswana. And speaking of the task team of experts, another startling or shocking revelation that the president made was the inflation of prices of medical supplies. He did mention the fact that when they got a quotation as the task team from the Central Medical Supplies, it went up to 705 million pula, but that very same task team went and sourced the quotation of medical supplies and came up with about 80 million pula. And this is a massive difference of about 625 million pula. And so the president did raise alarm over the fact that medical prices are being highly inflated, about 5 to 10 times more than they actually cost. Another thing, as soon as he made this announcement, the following day, the Ministry of Health began dispersing or distributing the first batch of medicines across the country, including antiretrovirals, dialysis drugs, painkillers, and other essential supplies.
All right, Rorisang, will certainly be keeping an eye on that situation. Your next story, unions are marching to demand DPSM director's removal.
The trade unions believe that the director of the Directorate of Public Service Management, which is the employer, is the genesis of all troubles and challenges that are being faced by public service workers currently in Botswana. And in addition to her, they're also calling for the removal of the permanent secretary to the president, Emma Pelwetletsi. They believe that these two senior government officials are not actually doing their job and they are not helping the salary negotiations. They accuse the DPSM as well as the PSP of stalling or delaying salary negotiations. They accuse them of manipulating records as well as sidelining this coalition by striking deals on the side with other groups. And so they embarked on a peaceful demonstration marching to the Ministry for State President. They framed this protest as a fight for fairness, transparency and respect in wage talks. They are demanding salaries as well as working conditions to improve, in addition to the removal of the 2 senior government officials. Now, the Minister for State, President Moeti Mohasa, did receive their petition and acknowledged their demands as well as their challenges. He acknowledged their concerns, and he did reaffirm his government's commitment to negotiating in good faith. However, he did note that some of the challenges that are being experienced were inherited from the former ruling Botswana Democratic Party. However, no decision has been made on some of the demands that the unions were making in terms of the removal of the 2 senior government officials. All we know is that the minister did call forth the trade unions to come back to the negotiating table and actually renegotiate in good faith. So the unions are hopeful that something will actually be done.
All right, Rorisang, let's get into your last story. We are in the sporting world as Botswana adopts world tennis number system, one of very few African nations to do so.
Yes, indeed. Botswana has become the 4th African country to adopt the world tennis number, joining South Africa, Egypt, and Angola. Now, the International Tennis Federation Southern Africa's development officer did explain that the initiative is expected to improve data collection as well as provide a global standard for ranking players. In addition to that, the Botswana Tennis Association explained that the WTN will now be used across all local tournaments in order to ensure fair matchups. It is also expected to offer a more accurate measure of player skill, helping both beginners and seasoned athletes compete against opponents of similar ability. And this change is really expected to bring even greater transparency and enhance overall player experience, and as well as address some of the frustrations that were experienced over unfair match pairings.
All right, many thanks, Rorisang Mogojwe, for delivering the Botswana report.
That is all from me, Rorisang Mogojwe, with the Botswana report. Until next time, Africa, good morning.
Africa, good morning indeed. Thank you for joining us on DSTV 285, GOTV 25, 1up2.com, as well as a network media hub that is on YouTube and NTV Africa on YouTube. Keeping in mind on 1up2.com, if you click the echo icon, you have an opportunity to have a look at this show and other NTV programs. Keeping in mind, today we began with Botswana declaring a public health emergency. However, prior to that, we did have breaking news from South Africa, with the Constitutional Court refusing to hear the Lungu family's appeal. And right now, the Lungu family and the Zambian government are in talks with regards to finally burying the late President. Kilmar Abrego Garcia, temporarily shielded from deportation to Uganda and South Africa, warning young women against viral Russian recruitment schemes. DSTV 285, as I said, GOTV 25, 1up2.com. Do not miss Africa Good Morning when we return tomorrow as Ari Hochad delivers the South Africa report. And of course, we bring you stories from broader Africa. My name is Ashwin Mbedi. This has been AGM. Swera Jaganaka.